What I believe.
I'll tell you what. For a minute.
In reality, what I believe.
I know.
Everything has a beginning.
No.
And end.
No. For you, that is the case because you don't believe in God.
Yeah,
okay. Because you do not believe in God, let's not bring God into the equation. When I ask you this question, did the universe come from nothing or not? Or did it come from something?
There is a possibility, yes.
Okay, from nothing?
Yeah.
Which scientist says that?
If you believe in those Big Bang theory.
Big Bang has a beginning. They say the universe is 13.7 billion years old.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That it began at a point in time. Yes. So all reality that you see, the universe, yes, has a beginning. Anything that has a beginning, yes, it has a cause. So what caused the universe? It cannot be nothing because nothing doesn't even exist. How can something that is non-existent bring something that is existing? Do you get it? That's logical.
Yeah.
I'm not using religion now. I'm using logic. So I hope you understand this question.
This part is half logical.
Half logical?
No. If I even accept it, it's logical. Okay. This part is logical.
No. Which part is logical?
As you're saying, there has to be a cause of creation. Something can come from someone's plan.
So everything has a cause.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, everything that exists, that began to exist, has a cause. We know that the universe began to exist at some point in time. Do you believe that? The universe had a beginning. Anything that has a beginning, yes, has a cause. Has a cause.
Everything has a beginning and the end. But when it comes to God, you're saying
you're going back to God.
He was already there.
I think you're obsessed with God.
No, I'm not. That's my problem. Yes,
why is your problem being obsessed with God when you don't believe in God?
Yeah.
I'm using logic.
That's why I didn't get any evidence or logical argument.
I know. I'm not asking you for evidence of God. I'm asking you for evidence of the universe. The universe.
You just keep switching from here and
I have to because you believe in the universe. You don't believe in God. So I have to use what you believe in. I want to know even the thing that you believe in makes sense to you. So do you believe that the universe exists?
It does, yes.
Did the universe begin to exist at some point in time?
So who created this universe?
That's my question to you.
Who created this?
That's my question to you. Are you going to answer that? What is the cause of the universe? I asked you in a different way, but basically the question is the same.
So
what caused the universe?
Okay, if you come, there's a planner, okay, creator.
Alhamdulillah.
No. That's your argument. I'm
not me. You. I want your argument, not my argument. I already know my argument.
Okay. So
what's your argument for the beginning of the universe? What created the universe?
There is a creator, yeah?
No. You.
No.
Do you believe that?
There is a creator.
No. I'm sorry to say this. You are not using an argument of someone who believes in God. You, as a non-believer in God, what is your argument when I ask you this question? What created the universe?
Okay, I can say the reason I don't believe there is no logical argument of God existence.
See, he goes back to God. This guy is obsessed, you know. That's the problem with certain atheists. They are so obsessed about God that they cannot let it go because for them, there is no other way out of this.
Yeah.
The only way for you,
religion,
to talk logically about the universe.
Is the center point of your
no, but is it the center point for you?
It's not.
Is God the center point for you?
To dismiss it is my center point of argument, to dismiss it.
No, but how can you dismiss something that you don't believe in?
There's something.
So why do you keep bringing God in when you don't even believe in it? My question to you is, what caused the universe? Everything that begins to exist has a cause. So what caused the universe? Something or nothing? Let's narrow it down to that. Was it something or was it nothing? What caused the universe? You know, you heard of the singularity? You heard of the Big Bang?
Yeah.
Yes, you know, before the Big Bang there was a singularity?
That could be a possibility scientifically, okay?
What is the possibility?
Even if, okay,
what is the possibility?
I haven't witnessed it in my eyes. No one did. So that could even be a possibility.
What is the possibility?
Possibility.
Which possibility are you talking about?
Something realistically may happen is the possibility.
No. The question is, what caused this existence of the universe to come into being? Did the universe exist all the time or did it come to exist in certain points?
If I believe in Big Bang Theory, then there is a beginning, yes.
Do you believe in the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
Good.
I do almost, yes.
Okay, what do you mean almost?
Although I have some questions there, but let's say I believe it.
Okay, let's say you believe 99% of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes? That means that the universe began to exist at some point. Before there was no existence before the universe, but it began to exist at some time.
Yeah, okay.
So now my question is at this point, when it began to exist, what caused it? Was it something or did it come from nothing?
Yeah, it could be the law of the nature or physics.
The laws came later. The laws of nature came later.
Yeah, like look, those gravity pulling together.
The gravity came later.
Yeah, came into singularity, and then there was an explosion.
So gravity just came from nothing.
So without the gravity, how can you have the singularity?
No. When you say
no, as you say.
Okay, how do you define gravity?
Gravity came later, as you're saying. So without gravity,
I'm saying the laws of nature came later. First, you need to answer me what caused the singularity.
So what's your point? Just make it clear.
I've been asking all this time. He's asking what's the point.
What's your point? What's your point?
My point is, if something is existing.
Now, you are saying this.
Well, you're asking me what's the point. I'm telling you, and you cut me off already.
You're saying the cause. So
say again?
Cause means you mean a planner, isn't it?
No. Cause means something that triggers the effect.
Okay,
so something causes. For example, everything that begins to exist has a cause. Say, for example,
was it happening naturally or someone planned it?
I'll tell you what. You know when you boil water in the kettle?
Yeah.
Yes. So what boils the water? Either the electric or the heat. Yes.
Yeah.
So the heat or the electric is the cause of the boiling water.
Yeah.
So we cannot say, oh, I believe in boiling water, just like that. I cannot say that if you put a pot of water, yes, without any heat on it, without any electric applied to it, it boils, yeah? So the boiling temperature of the water is 100 degrees.
Yeah,
this is the effect of the cause, which is the heat or the electric.
Now going nowhere.
No, this topic is going very well until you bring God in every time, because you cannot understand otherwise.
I asked you from the beginning, is it gravity? What caused gravity?
As you said,
every law of nature came later on.
God is eternal. I mean,
See, he goes back to God. He can't. As an atheist, he can't get away from.
From here, it means this argument is totally vague and illogical. Because
for you or for me?
Well, you're saying
your argument is illogical.
Which, you know, I'm saying because you don't believe in God, let's not bring God into the equation. Yes? For you as a disbeliever in God, can you logically prove to me from any scientific evidence or from any scientist, at least a credible scientist, whoever says that non-existence can bring into something that is existing? Like nothing can cause something. Okay. Is that logical at all for you?
Even if I say I don't believe in Big Bang, even if I say this,
then what is your...
Then what makes your religion the right one? There are 4,200 religions in the world.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe more, yeah.
So what makes your one the right
Now you're shifting goalpost. Before you come to religion, you need to understand all the religions at least believe in God, yes? Some concept of God.
Yeah,
yes?
True, yeah.
But you do not believe in God. So why are you worried about the religions when you don't even know how the universe came to existence?
I'm okay. My concern is so many people are believing this from gullibility. And without any evidence, they are being taught this, like a parrot from the childhood. That's what they're believing. They don't ask questions. They're scared of their, afterlife or losing their family or all this. They don't ask the question. So that's my problem. Don't be a parrot or gullible. Just know the reality and try to ask questions and find the answers for yourself.
Have you found the answer to the creation of the universe? Can I say you're gullible? Can I say you're illogical? Can I say you hurt other people and you're parroting now? I can say the same thing about you, my friend.
That's why no one is forcing me to believe this.
No one's forcing me to believe in Allah.
Okay. Okay, what's the punishment if you don't believe it?
You know, you keep shifting the goalpost.
No.
You keep shifting the goalpost. Okay, what is the punishment if you break the red light?
Even if I
while
don't
you're
believe
driving?
in Big Bang, no one coming to arrest me or doing anything, okay?
No one's coming to arrest me if I don't believe in the Big Bang either.
Yeah, that's true. But for religion, if you don't believe in Islam, your God, what's the punishment after that?
After you die?
Yeah, you know it all.
Okay. First, let me answer that. No problem. Imagine this, yes? When you die, what happens to you? According to your belief.
It happens exactly what it was before my birth.
Before your birth?
Yeah, before my birth.
Oh, your birth, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, what I was before
Sorry,
my
I
birth.
misunderstood something. Okay, when you were before your birth, yes? What were you? You were nothing, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So after you die, you become nothing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Let's say that happened and you are right. when you die and when I die, we become dust and nothing. Yes, imagine that is true. Yes, there's no consequences for you and no consequences for me. Am I right? If that is true. Now let me flip that. If after you die and there is a life after that, and God is going to punish you based on, or reward you based on what you did in this life, yes, who's taking the bigger risk, you or me?
All right. Okay.
Did you understand?
I understand the
Good.
question.
Answer the question without a question.
Okay.
Because you always ask a question with a question all the time. Can you answer once without a question?
To make it valid, I need to ask the question.
See what I mean? I knew this guy was going to do this.
As you asked me, so according to which religion God is going to judge me?
Before you go to which religion, you do not believe in any religion.
Okay.
So for you,
If I was
It's imagination.
for you it doesn't. For you, you're taking the risk regardless of which religion it is.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Look,
You
if
have
the,
already.
if the God is really intelligent, if the God is honest and intelligent, He would not give you the reward for being gullible. He should not.
Are you gullible?
I'm asking.
Are you gullible?
I'm not. So God will say, okay, he was asking question, he didn't believe.
Are you gullible or not?
No, I'm not.
So you want question you on that then?
Yeah. So God will.
So you answered your own question.
So
Now tell me, if I flip the situation,
you keep flipping.
and
that's
God
the
is
problem.
real,
Yeah.
and the punishment is real, and
Yeah.
the reward is real,
Okay.
what have you prepared for it?
According to which belief? Hinduism, Islam, Christianity.
You lose out on all the beliefs. Doesn't matter which belief it is.
Okay.
You lose out on all grounds.
But if I worship this
If you're
statue,
seeking- if you're
if
seeking-
I worship this statue,
Forget about if.
Yeah.
I don't ask you hypothetical questions. I'm asking you, you lose out on all grounds. Do you not realize this?
But all religions are not running on the same principle.
I didn't say they were.
Yeah. All religions have different.
But all religion have one principle. They believe in God. Do you agree?
They do, yes.
So for you, it doesn't matter which religion, you lose out on all grounds.
Sent by Allah.
Sent by Allah. How do you know that?
Anyway, no, look. What I'm saying.
You were saying which religion is true. But that is the next question. Before that, you need to at least believe in one of them, you know?
Okay. After for example, after my death, you and I standing here, okay?
Yeah.
You are a believer, I don't believe.
Yes.
And God is just punishing you. God is punishing me
Yes.
for not believing.
Yes.
So according to which book? For example, I was not Muslim. I was worshipping these statues. That's a sin still. I believed in God.
But you don't believe in worshipping statues, do you? Why are you bringing that point in?
If I did,
No, but
I
it's,
used to be a sinner.
no, wait a minute. What you're doing now,
What religion is-
hold on. Do you want to know which religion is true? Or do you want to know if God exists first? Which one you want first?
I need to fucking live, man.
Do you believe that God even exists before you pick a religion? Yeah, I wonder why the fly is coming only to you.
It's all man-made.
Thing, not from nothing.
Okay, so ask the same question. The creation of God.
God didn't begin to exist, so it doesn't apply to God. I've told you this several times, but you're not listening.
That's where you are just making it invalid. Okay.
Which part of that you didn't understand?
Apply the same rules on everything.
Okay, did God begin to exist?
For me,
By definition, if you're talking about God, you should at least know what God is. If God did not even begin to exist, then how can you say it should apply to God?
But for my logical mind, what I believe, everything has a beginning. Okay.
Everything meaning what? Everything material or immaterial?
Everything that exists has had a beginning.
Okay, everything material or immaterial? What has a beginning?
I'm not talking about anything immaterial. There is nothing.
Do you believe that? Do you believe in? There's nothing that's immaterial? Really?
What is immaterial? Tell me one thing.
Your consciousness. Do you believe you have consciousness? Oops, the penny dropped. I like that. He's thinking. That's a good sign. Do you believe in your consciousness? Can you give me empirical evidence for it? Observable, verifiable, yes? Provable that you have consciousness? How do you know you're not a brain sitting in a jar somewhere? And this is all just a matrix.
This consciousness also could be the part of my way of thinking or something else.
Yeah, it includes everything. Your emotions, your consciousness, your cognition. All this is linked to your consciousness. In fact, your ability to ask all these questions and counter questions, it comes from your consciousness. But can you prove your consciousness? Because it's immaterial. How can you prove it? You can't, my friend. As an atheist, you have to believe it by faith. You have to believe it because everybody else tells you that you have consciousness. Well, prove it to me in science, scientifically, because science is all about observation, about verification.
Yeah,
yes?
True. Yeah.
Can you verify and observe your consciousness?
But it is unscientific and
What's unscientific? Your consciousness?
no, it's unscientific and illogical to believe something without the evidence or...
But you believe in your consciousness, right?
Yeah, consciousness is the product of my understanding and observation.
Do you have evidence for it? That you have consciousness? What happened?
You know, you're going into a different topic. Anyway.
No. I'm actually using the same questioning that you question God with. You see, God is not something that is material or physical. Yes, that you will find Allah will come here in front of you and then you'll believe it. Yes, because this is a test, as I said. I'm asking you, your own self, you know, wait. Your own self you don't understand. Your own consciousness you don't understand. And you want to know the other immaterial, which is God. First, believe that you yourself have consciousness. In fact, you believe it already, but without evidence, without science verifying it, without any proof for it. You already believe it. Think about that. You see, so there are things in this life, my friend Anu, there are things in this life which you believe in without evidence, without proof, without verification, just because everybody else tells you so. Yes? But then when you ask the same questions about Allah, ask the same questions about yourself first.
But for other things, questioning is like they encourage to ask you a question.
Just like I encourage you to think, yes, about your consciousness.
But in religion,
so why do you believe your consciousness? Wait.
Question is even
I want to ask you this question. Why do you believe in your consciousness without evidence? Why? Why do you believe in the immaterial without any scientific evidence or proof?
Look, as you are telling me, the conscious is immaterial matter.
Do you agree with that?
I need to find out what it is exactly first.
You don't know what's consciousness?
You are picking just one point because
that is the main point.
No. You are making a main point because
for you that is the main point because you don't believe in the immaterial. Okay, define to me what consciousness is. If you don't know, I'll tell you, no problem. Many people don't know.
You tell me
consciousness is basically just your awareness of your surroundings and your existence. In a nutshell, that's what it is. Consciousness. Okay? Are you aware that there are people around you and that you exist?
Yeah, that comes from reality as well. You know,
yeah, your consciousness determines the reality. So, for example, if there was, let's say, a computer-generated scenario in front of you, your consciousness will tell you, yes, depends how good or how bad that, computer-generated scenario is, that whether that is real or unreal. But if you decide that is real, you came to that conclusion based on your consciousness. Yes, your awareness, your ability to determine things around you.
Yeah, and this ability comes from
your consciousness.
The amount of knowledge and information you have.
Yes, and for that you need consciousness. Your consciousness drives your emotions. But it drives your cognition. It drives your ability to think, your ability to question, your ability for your intellect. All this, the central processing unit for that is your brain, which actually is your consciousness, where it is in your body basically.
But it can be developed by your own experience and information.
Yeah.
You know,
that still proves that.
Look around here, or looking at the faces, what I see, someone else will see something different. They can pick up more information.
But that is only being subjective about it.
Yeah.
But you still have to believe in consciousness. You see what I mean? Without proof, without evidence, without any other scientific method of empirical evidence, you still believe in it.
But consciousness, I don't think is immaterial because.
Okay, where is your consciousness?
It is not because.
Have you seen it under a microscope? Your consciousness?
It is a reflection of reality.
No. Have you seen any evidence that you have consciousness under a microscope? Has anyone seen it?
How do you judge something what is existent? Like you feel it, you hear it, or you can touch it through your senses.
Yes.
So
and that is dependent on your consciousness.
Yeah.
You need to be conscious.
So your consciousness is also part of that feeling as well.
No, no.
What you feel.
Now what you're doing is you're mixing your 6 senses with your consciousness. So imagine this: somebody is unconscious. Yes, can they depend on any of those 6 senses?
No. The thing is, you're saying consciousness is immaterial.
Yes, and so is your emotions.
But something is.
For example,
connected.
do you have a pet? You have a pet like a cat or a dog?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What, a cat?
Yes, it's cat. Yeah.
Okay. How do I know that you love your cat more than your mom? Can you determine this in a lab? You say I love my cat, and then you say I love my mom.
Look.
Can you tell anyone out there that you love your cat more than your mom or your mom more than your cat? Can you prove this to them?
You can't prove it, but
you know why?
But it will reflect. It will reflect.
No, wait.
By your attitude.
Your reflection can be a made-up thing. So you can say with your mom, "Mom, I love you," but in your heart, I'm not saying you, by the way. In your heart, you don't really love her,
Yeah.
and you love your cat more.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So you can lie and you can make up the scenario such that you're loving him.
That could be subjective. As you're going through the same argument. So, if I tell my mom what I actually mean, you can't read my mind.
But that is my point.
Yeah.
You cannot prove your emotions scientifically. Does that mean they don't exist? Does that mean you don't have love in your heart? Are you with me? Love is immaterial. That's the reason you cannot prove it in a lab. Your emotions, yes, your hatred, your love, let's say your generosity, your kindness, all these things are your emotions which you cannot prove in a lab. So earlier you saying, give me an example of something that is immaterial. I gave you many now.
But what goes through your mind actually reflects by your attitude or your action.
Yeah, but you can still pretend.
You can pretend as well. But
so it's not reality then?
But generally, it comes through
No, there are many pretenders out there. In fact, all the actors do that.
Yeah.
Yes? You see, in a movie, you might see that this actor is so good that the way he portrays his emotions is amazing. But in his real life, he might be completely different.
Yeah.
So in a movie, he might be playing the role of someone who cracks jokes all the time, is really lively, he might be a joker. Yes? Yeah. But in his real life, he might be miserable.
Yeah, but they feel it. For the set of the camera, they feel it, so they're
made up emotions,
made up, yeah.
Which means it's not real.
But they try to feel it. That's why.
Do you not understand the point I'm making? I'm telling you that there are immaterial.
I understand it's made up.
No. Do you believe now there are things which are immaterial and material? Do you think there are?
If you put yourself in that position, then similar expression will come out.
I know. Do you not understand what I'm telling you? Do you at least believe now that there are things which are material and immaterial? Do you believe that or not now?
Okay,
Not if. I'm asking you.
Emotion and those.
Yes. Are they material or immaterial?
Then this is not material at the same time. It is connected to a physical thing.
Which is what? Connected to what?
Like
consciousness, which is not physical either.
If you are dead, your consciousness goes, isn't it?
How do you know that?
Your consciousness.
How do you know that?
Does not exist.
How do you know? There are scientific studies which show recently that the dead can hear even without the consciousness for a few minutes after death. Recent studies.
Yeah,
but my point is not that. My point is not what you cannot, what you can prove. My point is what you cannot prove.
You can transplant some body parts as well within say even 3 days. Doesn't mean those body parts.
I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about a person who is dead. I'm talking about you as a live person. Do you believe as a live person that you have certain emotions and consciousness which are immaterial, which no one out there can prove? Like the amount of love you have, the amount of hate you have, the amount of your generosity, all this is linked to your consciousness. Yeah. All of these are immaterial. Do you believe that or not?
And the consciousness only exists when you exist.
According to your understanding. Yeah. But I believe that we have a soul which now...
You can think anything, or you can be very happy thinking of your reward of afterlife. But it doesn't mean it's a matter of being happy. You know,
it's not about happy or not.
It could be. All made up wrong.
I know. In this conversation, I've proved to you that there are things which are immaterial, and
it didn't prove anything.
Okay. Well, can you prove your love? Let's see if we can do that.
I just told you.
What?
What goes into your mind comes out through your action. And secondly, what you think inside your mind, it happening because you are alive.
That's got nothing to do with my question. Do you know what my question is? My question is, can you prove your emotions scientifically? With empirical evidence?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
You can?
Yes,
okay,
I can.
prove to me your love. Go on. Prove to me that you love your cat more than
Yeah.
your mom,
No,
or your
no.
mom more than your cat. Go on,
Yeah,
prove it to me.
When you have true feelings, it will.
How do I know it's true?
It will be expressed through your.
How do I know you're not acting?
Facial expression, through your voice.
Actors do that all the time. Through the voice, through facial expression, through their...
But
That's why it's called acting.
Yeah.
Do you know what acting means?
Acting
Acting means something which is
acting
unreal,
doesn't
you
mean-
can make it real.
Okay, acting doesn't mean always it's just faking.
I never said always.
Okay, acting doesn't mean just faking. Acting means
I never said always.
putting yourself there and think like them so a real expression will come out.
But how do you know it's real expression? Do you have evidence for... you know what empirical evidence means? Empirical evidence means, for example, if I keep you and this other gentleman in a room, yes? And then I ask you, how did you feel the temperature was? So he might tell me it was warm. You might tell me it is cold. You both are human. You both were in the same room. But your subjective experience of your environment, the room is different. Now I come and I say I can prove it objectively with empirical evidence what the exact room temperature is. All I need is a thermometer. Now that thermometer shows me empirical evidence what the exact temperature of that room is. So whatever you say or he say is regardless for me, because now I have empirical objective evidence. Can you do the same with love?
You can express it by your action.
Is that objective?
I just told you.
Is that objective or subjective? I want objective evidence, not subjective. Just be sincere and say you can't, because the scientists haven't invented a machine by which they can test the amount of love or hate that you have for a certain individual objectively.
By what I
Objectively means,
Okay.
for example, there is
Whether it's
empirical evidence for
objective
it.
or subjective, it only exists when you exist. It can't exist by itself.
I didn't say it exists by itself. I said when you are alive, you feel emotions.
Yeah.
How can you prove to me that you have emotions, even emotions? Because you could be acting. Yes? To express your emotions. You could be acting all your life. You might be really miserable, but you feel you're showing people that you're happy. I'm not saying you're like that. I'm just giving an example. Yeah. What I'm saying is that because you do not have objective empirical evidence, but you still believe that you have emotions. You still believe you have consciousness. That is my whole point.
Yeah, I mean,
So now we have-
the reality. Without my consciousness, I wouldn't be alive.
Exactly.
I'd be disabled, just lying.
Exactly my point.
In a bed.
But you believe in it without empirical evidence. Do you understand that? You believe it without looking at it, without seeing any evidence for it. Now this is
You're
exactly
missing the point,
this is exactly why I believe that there is an immaterial world and a material world. That's the reason I believe that there are things beyond what science. You see, science is a tool, which is a good tool to observe things of the material world, the naturalistic world. But it is completely useless when it comes to immaterial world, because it's beyond the scope of science. It is like me, if I want to dig a hole in the ground, yes, I would actually use an equipment which is able to do that. Now if I use just this, let's say this bottle, this part to dig a hole, will I be able to do it?
No.
Why? Because I'm using the wrong tool. Similarly, if you keep saying science this, science that, yes, in order to prove God you need science, science cannot cope with immaterial world. So it is beyond the scope of science
But in
to prove to
reality-
you
but in my reality,
about God.
In my reality,
your consciousness is your reality, and you couldn't prove that to me.
In my reality, there is nothing immaterial.
Your consciousness, I gave you. You see, after all this conversation, he comes back to the same thing which was in his head. I proved to you your emotions,
But
your consciousness. I gave you examples.
Yeah,
But at the end, after listening to all this, you're saying I don't believe in emotions. I don't believe in my consciousness even.
That's not what I'm saying.
Do you believe in your consciousness? Do you believe in your consciousness or not?
Yes, I do.
Do you have-
as long as I'm alive. and
Okay.
I can
Do you have evidence that you have consciousness? Material evidence, empirical evidence, objective evidence.
You're just rattling around with this. I mean, it makes
I'm rattling around.
It makes no sense to me. What you're talking about? I was talking about different.
You know, when you can't answer the question, it doesn't make sense all of a sudden. That is
Okay,
that is
thank
being
you.
insincere. Anyway, I think we should stop here, because for you to accept your own self, you need sincerity. For you to accept your own consciousness, you need sincerity. You know what Allah says in the Quran about you, as a human being, you have to look for signs in the furthest of horizons and within yourself. Yes? Within yourself is your consciousness, and you are denying those. So Allah has given you signs and you deny that.
I didn't deny. I said it's part of my existent material.
So you think consciousness is material?
I can think of my consciousness and everything in my mind. It's because I exist.
No. Is your consciousness material? If it is, why can't you show me example?
There's different argument. I need to do a research on this, right?
No, but you already made up your mind. You said there is nothing immaterial. You made up your mind already.
Yeah, but
am I right?
That's the thing. I mean,
is that a logical thing to do?
According to science, or thing, there is nothing immaterial, or even there is, you should not believe.
That's because you're using the wrong tool. Science is not a tool to determine immaterial things.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Science only observes the naturalistic world, and it gives you based on its understanding what is. But if it cannot even see it, how can it?
You might be happy with the non-existent or immaterial afterlife or whatever.
Shall I tell you something? There is not a single scientist.
It doesn't exist for me. Right?
Okay, there's not a single scientist who does not believe in consciousness. Not a single credible scientist who rejects consciousness. And there is not a single credible scientist who can prove with empirical evidence that consciousness exists.
So who is denying the consciousness?
No one. That's what I'm telling you.
So what are you telling me?
What I'm telling you is they believe in consciousness based on faith.
I'm not denying either. Okay.
You are not?
I've been telling you for the last many minutes that it's part of my existence.
But is it material or immaterial?
Then it'll go into I can pretend on all the stuff.
Yeah, why not? That's the reason I ask you for empirical evidence. You know what empirical evidence is? Like the room temperature, which you cannot deny. Two people can get different, feeling about what the temperature of the room is.
By thermometer could be faulty, isn't it?
What if it's not faulty? Then do you believe it? Are you saying all the thermometers in the world are faulty?
Then you need to pick the average conclusion.
No, there are.
If
you're going to use such logic that the thermometer is faulty, are you telling me that you can never find the temperature of the room? Objectively, or you can? Anyway, I think you have not much to say, because as an atheist, you will not have answers to this unless and until you believe that there are things beyond the naturalistic world which you cannot understand by science. If you're going to revolve your entire life on science, then you are actually looking at the world with one eye. Just with the naturalistic world. There is an immaterial world in yourself and beyond yourself as well. But you cannot have evidence for empirical evidence even within your own self, like your emotions, like your consciousness.
But the science does not tell you what to think. It gives you the information to enhance your way of thinking.
Yeah, but science cannot be used as a tool for immaterial things. Do you not agree with that?
That's correct. Because
good, that's all I wanted to say.
Science doesn't allow this.
So why are you asking for science for God then?
No,
if you have realized that science cannot be used as a tool.
Science doesn't accept this immaterial thing or all this.
Who told you that? They accept the consciousness. They accept, you just said it, no one denies it.
Consciousness does not come from nothing. It comes only from a living human or a living creature.
I never said it comes from nothing. When did I say that? Why you making putting words in my mouth that I never said? I'm saying for anything that exists, that begins to exist, you need a cause. Then I told you for anything immaterial, there are things beyond the material world, and I proved that with your consciousness, with your emotions and so on. You believe that without any proof.
Consciousness is immaterial.
Yes, and you still believe it.
But I think it could be a material thing as well, because it doesn't exist without a living creature, you know.
No, wait. If you think that consciousness is material, then the onus is on you to prove to me with empirical evidence. And you can never do that.
No, I can do a research. I can,
do your research.
By a religious person, I cannot say, hey, I just do
You're not a religious person. Go and do the research and come back to me next time and show me. Because, go and look on the internet for this term. The heart problem of consciousness. Do you know why it's called a heart problem? Because everybody believes in it. Yet, those people who look for scientific evidence don't have evidence for it. Anyway, with this, I think I should leave the conversation here.
Okay, brother. Thanks for
yes, no problem. Thanks for your time as well. And inshallah, I hope you believe in the religion that you were born in, with Islam, and if you want to have more evidence about it, do not ask questions which you yourself have no evidence. For example, I asked you about the immaterial world. Yeah, no, you can ask questions. That's fine. But as long as you are sincere, you still need sincerity. When the truth has come to you, you need to accept it.
I have gone through all these.
No, you haven't.
All those books.
I don't think you have come into the consciousness argument before.
All those teachings, all those books, everything, and it's all same thing. I mean,
how many books did you read on Islam?
If one is true,
give me one book other than the Quran you read on Islam.
So what else? What other books?
No, you said you have read it all.
You have Quran, Hadith, Sirat Rasulullah.
Yeah.
And
which Sirah did you read of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam?
Ibn Ishaq.
Ibn Ishaq is in Arabic.
I don't read Arabic. I read my own language or English.
Okay. So do you accept the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a messenger of God, or you don't?
No, I don't.
Based on what?
Based on, like, there have been many claimants who claim the same thing, being the messenger of God.
Yeah, of course there are. We don't believe there's only one messenger.
Yeah.
We believe there are many messengers.
Okay. Other than those,
yeah,
in other religions, non-recognized religions as well. Okay, I told you more than 4,000 religions. So you believe how many prophets? Even other ones. But all those activities and all those things written in the Quran, it doesn't make realistic.
Okay, what is it in the Quran you think is unrealistic? Just the Quran.
There are so many.
Give me one example. Go on.
I can. Okay, look. I don't. First of all, I'll give it to you. I'll tell you. But I don't want to make this argument any longer because
okay, no problem.
I can go
Next
for
time.
hours.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is.
But you have read the Quran, yes?
There are lots of unscientific materials in the Quran, unscientific or.
But we don't believe the Quran because science tells us to. Our faith in the Quran is not based on science. The Quran never claims to be a book of science. It is a book of science.
But to make it.
Allah says ayat, the signs of Allah.
Or believable, it has to be truth. Isn't it?
Yeah, but how will you identify the truth if you don't even know that your consciousness is material or immaterial?
But what material?
If you don't know yourself, okay, how can you come to the conclusion it's truth?
If there are verses about material world, and forget the immaterial chapters,
yeah,
if they talk about material matters, and if science prove to be wrong, I mean, those verses to be wrong and faulty and like very dark ages concept, you know. So
do you know that science itself evolves and changes?
It does, yeah.
Like there was a point in time when the scientists of those days used to believe that the earth is flat. Yeah? At that time everybody accepted it. Then later on when they had more evidence, yeah, then they found out no, the earth is not flat. No, wait, listen to me. So you see, science cannot be used as something that is rock solid, because it is something that shifts as new information comes in. So wait a minute.
Everything is changing over time.
Wait. So you cannot use science as your as your yardstick to measure the truth, because science's truth changes over time as it finds new information.
Science is the reality, and
no, it's not reality. Science is based on observation of the current time.
The nature and everything is changing over time. So
I just gave an example of the truth that has changed.
Science is right at the present. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah, but it can be false tomorrow, right?
If new evidence comes, it can be false tomorrow. But
so until that new evidence comes, you will believe that the falsehood is the truth.
But what religion says to be true, it generally are false.
Give me an example from the Quran, and then we'll go.
They've been false from the beginning. I mean.
Yeah, but the same thing applies to science. Then you shouldn't believe in science either. You're using double standards now.
But science is not arrogant, and science is not telling you either to believe it or, I mean, it doesn't force you to do anything.
No one forces anyone to do anything.
But religion forces you to believe.
No. In the Quran, Allah says, "La ikraha fid din." There is no compulsion in religion. And Allah, there is a Surah Al-Kafirun, where Allah clearly states, "Lakum dinukum waliyadin." To you is your faith and mine. To me is mine.
I've gone through all this. There are so many contradictions. One ayah said this, other one says completely different. And even
I don't think you have studied the Quran. Yeah. Come back next time when you have time.
Yeah, sure.
And inshallah we can talk about the Quran.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, find out about consciousness,
and
whether it exists, whether it's material or immaterial.
There are lots of documents and even YouTube videos claiming lots of, I mean, unscientific materials in the Quran. They're very
But Quran never
familiar.
claimed to be scientific book.
Yeah.
Why would you say
So
it's unscientific?
If there's a book of God, true God,
Yeah.
then he should have known the truth. He shouldn't put any vague materials in
No,
there.
there's a difference between false and vagueness.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for your time, mate. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair.